Well, interesting to see, because I was also here last year in Jinan, it was, and I must say that the atmosphere this year is quite different. It seems that the market is a lot less buoyant than what it used to be, and I could also see in their presentations that the outlooks they are having on their local market, with the building industry being a little bit in distress, is not so positive. So the overall atmosphere is far less optimistic, I think, than last year. Hence, I think a number of the companies, and more of those, including companies that are producing large-scale and even industrial heat pumps, are looking for export opportunities much more still than last year.
So as part of those export opportunities, I presented the Industrial Accelerator Act, the proposed legislation from the European Commission to encourage and require heat pumps installed in Europe that attract subsidies to be made in Europe and be of European origin. Yeah, I think the discussion that I heard from many of the players was that is broadly what has made China what it is today. The requirement of European and American companies to localize here in China. And what you see is, when you look around, you see a very large amount of European players in this industry, but also in every other industry. And I think that localization and that requirement to localize has contributed very significantly to China and to China's development. And we hear very clearly from Chinese heat pump manufacturers that they believe that's a very fair requirement. I think it's going to be very difficult for those Chinese companies, given the requirement to invest in manufacturing capacity, in installer engagement and installer training, in building the sales channels. It's very clear that this is not an easy task. So what I think we're going to see is a real change from the current market, where lots of small players make equipment for European players. And I think that world is going to be quite different in the future. And I think the Industrial Accelerator Act, as proposed, will require and will get a lot more investment from China. But I don't necessarily see that investment being very disruptive of the European market. I think they will have a real challenge in accessing the European market.
I would agree with that. I think they realize that they will have to do something much more structurally than maybe initially they were expecting. And I also don't think that all of them will be able to do that. But if the ones that do, I think they will contribute to the European market just like anybody else, and they will just be another competitor on a level playing field, as we can expect and should expect for a market to operate. And as we've been advocating, I think as EHPA, in order to be remaining competitive with European production and still be affordable, I think taking advantage of these global supply chains is absolutely essential and necessary, and also economically makes perfect sense.
Yeah, in the manufacturing world, if you have 4 or 5 large plants in the world and Europeans' entire annual demand of that product is a week or 2 weeks, it really doesn't make sense to, from a competitiveness point of view, to say we have to make absolutely every little component.
The audience here could also see that we're very positive on the growth of the European heat pump market and AC market, cooling as well. In view of the temperatures rising, that's also an evident statement. But so yes, there will be more companies appearing, but I think what the IEA is trying to do, and I think the message here really came across, that we should be operating on the same basis, with the same backgrounds and the same inputs into the market, and then it's fair game.
Fair, open competition. Great to see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.